Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, this show is brought to you locally by an organization called Million Kids. And Million Kids has been around for nearly 15 years now. And we're right here in the Inland Empire, even though we often work across the United States, by educating and doing outreach, prevention, and intervention on things like sex and labor trafficking and social media exploitation. And there are many, many things taking place under those headlines. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I cannot ever remember a time in all the years that I have been combating trafficking and online exploitation that we have had the challenges that we have today. And the number of cases and the number of kids being violated and the number of leads and information sent to us that where people make bad choices and get themselves in trouble. So, but I want to start out with some positive today because a couple of really cool things are happening here in the Inland Empire, and I want you to know about it. One of them just happened to me. I mean, I just found out about it in the last 10, 15 minutes, so forgive me if I'm not right on top of it, but it's very exciting, and I wanted to share it. One of the headlines that came out said Riverside County educator named California Teacher of the Year. And how cool is that? They picked 5 teachers across the state of California, and this is done by the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman, and he named 5 educators as the California Teachers of the Year. And one of them is a person who just looks like a really cool guy. His name is Bob Mauger. I think I'm saying his name right. And he is out of Corona High School, a high school career and technical education, transportation, automotive teacher. I think that means he teaches kids to work on cars, but it's pretty impressive. Title, Career and Technical Education Transportation Automotive Teacher at Corona High School at the Corona-Norco Unified School District. And I was reading about him, and it's really kind of impressive, I think. He and 4 other teachers are ambassadors of the profession, will serve as representatives for the state of California for the calendar year 2024 and 25. And it talks a little bit about how he got there, and it was pretty impressive. His road to career in education was not straight-lined. He said when he was younger, he really was interested in social and criminal justice with the hopes of becoming a probation officer. And in some ways, it's too bad he didn't do that. We need more good quality probation officers. That's because we have more people for them to work with, by the way. But anyway, while he was working on his degree, he discovered that he had an interest in child development. And he started his career as a para-educator working with emotionally disturbed students. Right there makes him a saint, okay? Because I have a niece that does that out of the Chino education system over there. And those are really unique individuals that have the skill set, that have the patience, that have the insight, that have the empathy to be able to work with emotionally disturbed students and help them learn and achieve along their way. As he had a passion for hands-on work and mechanical repair, which he had learned from his father, he began to work on a career in technical educational credentials. He said his expertise in restoring cars has led him to the restoration of the automotive technology program at Corona High School. You know, I want to say how important that is. All of us, of course, would like our kids to go off to the university and get a degree in law or accounting or something where they make lots and lots of money and it sounds very prestigious, but there is a real opportunity out there in hands-on kind of careers. And I'll tell you, if you're going to be in automotive repair, you better be a rocket scientist because of a car accident in our lives recently, we have a new car, not brand new, but a nice new car. And I'll tell you, it is complex to be able to get in, lift up that hood. You have no idea what you're looking at under there anymore. It used to be you could tinker with the parts yourself, but if you don't have a computer, you don't know what you're dealing with. And so what happened here is that he developed an expertise in restoring cars. And there, he developed the automotive technology program at Corona High School. And he's preparing students with the technical skills and life skills like confidence and a strong work ethic. Let me reemphasize how important that is and how to be a good human. He describes himself as a consummate professional with a desire to make his automotive technology classes not only industry standard, but the best in the nation. He has high core values. I can't tell you how admirable that is today. I think that teaching your child their values and helping them be able to verbalize and identify what those values are one of the most important things that you can do with your children. The article goes on to say that he has high core values and excellent communication skills, and it's led to his auto shop becoming a platform for connecting students to learning. So he's described his teaching career as increasingly rewarding with each passing year, especially as students make the shift from the classroom to their own career journeys. His greatest satisfaction for witnessing the aha moments from their students, especially when diagnosing and fixing issues under the hood of automobiles. So congratulations to Robert Mauger, and congratulations to Corona Unified for having one of the very best in the state. No surprise, I'm sure that was very competitive because I've done quite a bit of training out of Corona-Norco, and they have a lot of good leadership out there, and I really enjoy working with them. So really proud to have somebody in our area that was chosen and recognized throughout the state. I want to tell you about one other thing before I go off on a tangent in the next section, so bear with me. But I will be attending a charity fundraiser on October 18th for veterans. And if you have a heart for veterans, you may want to look this event up and sign up to go. Not necessarily inexpensive. It's $150 per person, but it is called a night for veterans, a night for veterans. So look up nightforveterans.com, and you can find out how to go in there and participate. It is a fundraiser to support veterans. I'm an artist, as some of you may know that, a glass artist, and I did donate a piece for that because I do have a heart for veterans, especially right now. Our world is most unstable I've seen it in my lifetime. It is downright scary, and if there's ever a time you need to know that our veterans need to know that we're with them, that we support them, that we believe in them. We believe in all the old timers that have already been there to get us this far, to give us our freedom, but also support those people that are away from their families and taking on combat. Combat is not like it used to be. It is so high tech and it is so intense and it's very extremely dangerous. Not that the previous wasn't, absolutely. Many people gave their lives, and that is why we are going to go that night. This is October 18th. It starts around 5:30 to 6 o'clock, and it's called A Night for Veterans. If you want to look it up, I'd encourage you to go on and order up those tickets or contribute to them and support their work so that they can support especially local veterans. They will be recognizing that. Speaking of that, I want to recognize a friend of mine that just came back from Normandy, and his name is Don Brower, And he is 100 years old, and he flew planes over Normandy. And a veterans organization there has flown him over to Normandy, yes, at 90 years old. Oh, excuse me, 100 years old. Some of the people with him were 90, and recognized him for his work over there. So congratulations to Don and Stephanie Brower for getting to do that. They are not connected to A Night with Veterans. They probably are going to be going with me if I can talk them into it. But I want you to think about supporting this group. A Night with Veterans, it's called, and it's a charity fundraiser, and it is a way for you to speak up and support those people that have given us our freedom and support those that are currently putting their lives on the line, not just the veteran, but their families. That is one intense sacrifice. My name is Opal Singleton. This show is Exploited Crimes and Technology. It is break time, so we're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, let me tell you about my favorite restaurant in Riverside, Monarch Asian Bistro. The atmosphere and decor are simply stunning. The service is great too. It's a wonderful environment for a romantic dinner or a family get-together. It's not just another Chinese restaurant. The Monarch Asian Bistro is upscale, and it serves Thai food as well as unique Asian-inspired dishes that are just fabulous. My favorite is the pad see ew beef. My husband likes the orange chicken, and the Chinese chicken salad is always great. Our friends sometimes order the Emperor's Choice or Monarch steak. It is my favorite go-to place. Go ahead and give it a try. It's Monarch Bistro in Riverside, Canyon Crest Town Center next to Ralph's. They are open for lunch and dinner every day but Tuesday. Go ahead, give it a try. You're going to love it.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. I believe the four most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says, I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton, and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, during this show, we normally talk about things about how to keep your kids safe online and, how to keep your kids from being seduced by some gang member or pimp so that they end up in sex trafficking. And we talk about some of the overseas kinds of cartels that are now seducing our kids. And recently, we even had a show about how those same cartels are seducing grandma and grandpa and getting them into elder schemes, if you will, where they trick people into giving them money, blackmailing them, extorting them, sextorting them, and like that, getting them in romance scams and all of the above. But today I want to take on something different because I don't know about you, but this election season's getting to me. And there are many factors that is happening. But one of the things I wanted to identify is just to kind of maybe help you share some of your thoughts on it. And by the way, you can always write to me at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org and share your thoughts. That's fine with me. I always value other people's opinion, but I feel like day in and day out, we are lambasted with crap. Okay. I mean, I hear this stuff and I go, that is just not true. Where are they getting that? And I am so sick of this misinformation, disinformation, and fact checking, because the fact checkers are not giving you disinformation while they fact check the facts. And if, in fact, they're fact checking facts, quite frankly, they're giving you their personal opinion. And I've tried to sort through a lot of this in my heart, because I hear these messages and I just say to myself, well, some of what they said is true, but not the way they're using that information. And there's a huge amount of deception that is going on. Now, I'm old enough to remember when journalism was journalism. And in the next section, I want to talk to you about a true journalist by the name of Lara Logan. And there's an article out there that I would encourage you to read where she testified before Congress. But one of the things that's happened is the message is getting greatly distorted because they're not necessarily professionals out there. There are a lot of people that are putting a lot of messages. You have a lot of people blogging. Anybody can blog. Anybody can make a video and promote it and get it out there. And you get all these salacious headlines out there that's one of the triggers right off the bat. If you get a headline that's full of just emotional drama, so-and-so went scorched earth over, and all of these dramatic words that go on all the time. Let's see, I'm looking at one with a hurricane, and it's probably true, by the way, but I want to give you the idea. It says, coastal Floridian delivers stark messages in the path of a monster hurricane. And so my point is, all of these headlines have all of these emotional words to you, not necessarily based on truth, but to get you to engage. So you have bloggers, you have vloggers, those are video bloggers that are out there. You have a lot of people doing self-made videos. You have a lot of people doing their own podcasts. You have all kinds of apps out there, and they have different standards of what they qualify to be true and the validity of what they're saying. Then you have all these fact checkers who are checking the fact checkers, and I'm thinking to myself, who's checking them? When you start to look at all of these AI devices that are out there that are giving you the quote unquote truth, okay? You have GPT, and it's kind of fun to use, quite frankly. I'm going to be trained in it myself. A new one out that my good friend, Bill, is really keen on. This guy's a senior citizen, and he is hooked on Perplexity, okay? He goes to Perplexity for everything. And of course, then you have Google and Wikipedia. They're always right? But all of those are only as good as the data that is being fed in them. So who is validifying the data? And what criteria are they using? Are they using their own prejudice, their own political ideas, their own values? How are they evaluating what is really true and what is not true? Then you have all these clickbait favorites. I am so sick of those. Every now and then I fall prey to one of those. Keep in mind, I'm a researcher by profession because I research all the cases related to child sex crimes and sextortion and social media exploitation, money laundering, gangs, cartels. And so I do a lot of research, and it's very, very important to me that whatever information that I'm getting, that I know has some semblance of truth to it, that it has some fact that the event actually happened, that it wasn't someone's just interpretation. But these clickbait things are just ridiculous. What I'm talking about is all the headlines that get you to click on. Some of the favorites are one of them that I saw the other day, Chelsea Clinton's new partner. And I'm thinking, I thought she got married. And I started to click on it, and it gives you 50 different celebrities and their partner. And I think Chelsea's number 49. And so they want to take you through each one of these, because each time they do that, they're selling an ad to somebody. And if they can keep you clicking on it, then they are making money whether you buy what they're advertising or not. I am so sick and tired of Harry and Meghan and Kate and Wills, and, are they back together, and are they making up, and are they terminal? Are they going to get over it? Are they separating? What about their kids? And all of those are clickbait, along with salacious titles to get you to click on them. So I watch all of these emotional headlines. When I see a headline, the first thing I do is say, who's the source of this? Is this a legitimate, if there is such a thing anymore? Forgive me for being cruel, but, I question everybody anymore. I've done so much research, I think all you're doing is repeating what the last guy said. And that's what they do in clickbait. There will be nothing new there. They never do answer their question. Don't you hate that? They start out with a question in their headline about, are they breaking up and who gets the kids? And you get all the way down there, and it never tells you if they're breaking up or what happened to the kids. And it's just a crazy, crazy scenario that we live in. So I watch for emotional headlines. I watch for the source of the news. Who is putting it out there? And then on top of it, how do we know if there's any validity to that? Because these are all the things now that our kids, the world they're going to live in. One of the things that I talk about regularly is working with your children to talk about truth. We teach our kids from a young age not to lie. At least not to lie to us. It's okay to lie to grandma, but don't lie to us. Okay. I think it was my mother who used to say, you can do as I say, don't do as I do, kind of thing. And we all have a double standard. That's part of being the human. But it is important to raise children that have cognitive reasoning and understand ways to validate what they're listening to, what is the motive behind it, and what is the ability to determine truth on this. And one of the hard parts about that is there are so many professionals out there dedicated to muddying the water. And this is especially true in the political season. I listen to these ads, and you talk about disinformation and misinformation and replacement of information and never getting around it and admitting, truth by omission kind of thing. And I listen to all of this and I think, where is our society coming to? And how are we ever going to prepare the next generation to have strong moral values and value that what they say needs to have their word on it and be something valid and something of strong character? We somehow have lost this thing about telling the truth. I heard Hillary Clinton yesterday, and it really disturbed me. She was saying that we need national action. Our Congress has been dysfunctional when it comes to addressing threats to our children. They should be a top legislative priority, but we know that over a overly simple view that the platforms like Facebook and Twitter or TikTok, I love it, they don't moderate or monitor the content. We lose control, and it's just the social and psychological effects. It's real harm, it's child porn, and threats of violence. There's a modicum of truth to what she said on that, but her purpose of saying it is that she's saying they need to get control. It's break time. We're going to be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about the media and how on earth can you ever determine the truth. Now, I reread some of what I just read to you about the quote of Hillary Clinton, and I want to make sure that we get it right. Because it's interesting, when I heard it on TV, it had been kind of mispositioned that her role is to get control of the media so that they can control the message. Well, I suspect there's some truth there. But what she is saying is that social media really is doing very little to protect our children. And along those lines, I wouldn't tell you that I normally agree with Hillary Clinton. I got to be honest with you. We're talking about truth. I normally wouldn't agree with her, but I do believe there is a modicum of truth about all of this. And this is exactly where we're at. She says, remove the immunity of liability, and we need to have guardrails, and we need regulation. The problem of it is that she wants to be the person that determines what they report. And this is really where it comes down to the problem, is that you have all of these people out there, fact checkers. We saw it on the debates. They were only fact checking one side. And, they were fact checking from their own bias, their own political thinking that goes on there. And that is the problem with the whole thing. This is the reason why I think that as we progress in our lives, that we really have to have this conversation with our children, because there is going to be a mass amount of information out there that we will not be able to verify. And it really has to come down to knowing who you are and what you stand for, that you are a person that has values, and those values are honesty and caring for others and doing what is absolutely right and not modifying the truth to help your political position one way or the other. Now I want to talk about something else that I read today, because this is near and dear to my heart. And I am going to read a little bit of this because I want to get it right. But I want to share with you, because when I get data and when I get facts and when I get stories, it's important to me that I know who and when it's coming from. By the way, one of the first things I do when I do research is I look at the dates on it. Because what was true in 2021 is almost no longer true in 2024. Because in the last couple of years, the entire world was connected by internet, and we now have artificial intelligence that is feeding through every inch of our lives and being able to come back out and tell you what you should think and what they think you saw. And so the impact of artificial intelligence and the world being connected by internet, and the fact now that almost all of your apps have geolocation software on them, one of the reasons that is so true and so important is that when people start to try to violate your kids or talk to your kids, they already know everything about them and you. And it's very quick and easy. I mean, even these Nigerian telemarketing companies that are doing the romance scams to grandma and grandpa are doing the sextortion scams to your 13-year-old son. They already have a picture of your house from Google Images if you haven't gone in there and blocked it out. They already know all the information that is online by you. They know how old your children are. They know where you live. They know what the inside of your house looks like if, in fact, you posted on Zillow. You would not believe, you should Google yourself if you have not, because people from around the world, when they're ready to violate one of your kids or when they're ready to try to seduce one of your children, will already have that kind of information about you. So whenever I look at articles, especially if they're research articles, I want to know if it's the most current data. You know, I'm going to do a takeoff I would normally not do, but I'm going to do it here because I want to give you an example of exactly why this is so important. So many of you know that I participated with Stephen Peak and Maria Peak as producers, and we raised the funding and created a movie called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. It is available, by the way, on Amazon, iTunes, and Apple TV, and I highly recommend, of course, I'm prejudiced, I'm the executive producer, but I highly recommend that you as a family sit down and see this. There's nobody too young to see it, and see that movie. It's called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. And what happened is that we picked Stephen Peak because he had made some other movies that we quite like. But it is true that I didn't research every movie he ever made. And apparently, like 5 years before us, he made a movie that was a little right-wing. I did not know that, and it did not influence my picking of him. They made a darn good movie, and it's a movie that has saved lives, and I've been very grateful. But I was contacted by a young lady from NPR, National Public Radio, and she wanted to know why I picked him. And I said, because, you know, he had the skill sets I was looking for. Well, it isn't because he's uber right-wing. He's a right-wing extremist. And I said, well, I actually didn't find him to be a right-wing extremist. I kind of thought he might be somewhat left, especially his wife, but I didn't ask those questions. I'm looking at his skill sets. And she's going, no, you picked him because he's right-wing extreme. I'm like, no, that was not true. And then she comes back and she says, you state in your movie, and by the way, I document all the research that I do anytime I do a presentation. And she said, you state in your movie that most kids that are violated online are violated by someone they've never met. But I have a friend that's done research in 2016 on child sexual abuse, and she takes issue with that because a larger number of kids that are violated by somebody you know. And I said to her, you know, the truth is, honestly, we're talking two different things. I don't disagree with your friends. In 2016, it is true that a child that is violated wouldn't be most likely physically violated by somebody right down the street. But by the time you get to 2023 and 24, they are meeting people online that are halfway around the world, and they are not being violated by somebody they know. They are being violated by somebody they've sent information to halfway around the world. She absolutely would not back down. That is still out there because NPR has the money to put it out there to make sure that people take a look at that and maybe not look at our movie. And that is really, really sad because this movie is meant to help save kids. But my point is they're two different discussions, absolutely two different discussions. One is a research that is literally almost 8 years old. and has to do with someone you know and is in your area physically violating you, that is a whole world different than if you're violating somebody that you've met online that is taking your photos and wanting money from you or threatening to destroy your reputation. And in those kinds of cases, I contend that it's usually, I won't say never, but it's usually not someone you know. But here's my point about all of this and the discussion is that it's very easy for people to manipulate the truth and manipulate it so that it sounds in a way that it fits them. I really see this in all the voting ads. Whenever I see these ads for voting, I think, how do I validate that any of that is true? Because they're out there twisting the truth. And the truth is, when you look at those ballots that are out there, the ballots half the time a no is a yes and a yes is a no. And anytime you get mixed up within legislation, and they're calling it the California Safer Streets Act, you have to know your street isn't going to be safer. I just thought I'd throw that out there for you, just in case you're having trouble with that concept. But it's an interesting thing when you look at the ways that truth is manipulated. And then what is the motivation for manipulation behind it? I happened to see one headline today, a couple of headlines that you ought to look at. One of them was Louisiana's shocking law, what it means for abortion pill access. And basically what they're doing is trying to say that because they want to regulate who can get the abortion pill, that it's a shocking law that the government is trying to keep people from being able to access the pill. And all of it is a play on words, a play on fear, a play on, hesitancy, your willingness to stop and listen to other people defying the truth. And this is the reason why I say to you that it's really, really important in our conversation with our kids. The world they're going to live in even 3 to 5 years from now will be one absolutely devoid of truth. And how do we get them ready for that? It's Opal Singleton, and it's break time, so we're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. but she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we're talking about just how hard it is anymore watching television, going on social media, picking up information, following the war, following a hurricane, following a political candidate, just trying to get a good recipe. It's just darn near impossible to get it without some sort of major bias and twisting going on. Well, I want to share with you, and I'm going to give you a caveat. This is my personal opinion. You do not have to agree with it, but I just want to give you a caveat because over the years of doing research, I have come to really know and respect a young lady. She was on Fox Nation. I picked her up on some I don't know exactly. I think she was probably on videos or something like that. But her name is Lara Logan. And I just love this woman. I've never met her, but I love her style. I love her gut. I love her commitment to truth. Now, she's not like world famous. She's somewhat world famous, but only in some circles. If you're going to see her work, you can Google her, Lara, and her last name Logan, Logan. She's a journalist, a true journalist, and you just don't see that much anymore. And she's paid the price of all prices, by the way. And she does a lot of documentaries about cartels and gangs and crime and things like that. This particular article I saw, and I have a hard time downloading it, so bear with me. The headline is on something who I know very little about, some organization, BPR, Business and Politics Reporting. So, certainly not the Wall Street Journal. Okay, I'll give it that. The headline, if you want to Google her, Lara Logan goes scorched earth, get that word, on morally bankrupt media machine in brilliant censorship testimony. And I found this in the course of doing research because I'm trying to get both sides of the argument about what is going on in the world of journalism in determining the truth. So what has happened is that Lara Logan was called to Congress to testify. And she was speaking at Washington, D.C. roundtable discussion, February 26, by Senator Ron Johnson. It pertained to, quote unquote, federal health agencies and the COVID cartel. What are they hiding is what it is. But I wanted to just give her a kind of a shout out because this is a woman that has dedicated her life and her personal safety to getting to the truth. She says, I have worked at the highest levels of the media as a full-time correspondent on 60 Minutes, chief foreign correspondent for CBS News, chief foreign affairs correspondent for CBS News, and she did that for 16 years. She has sat down with world leaders, mass murderers, and terrorists. I have held people on both sides of the aisle accountable. I have been suffering, and I have faced evil, and I've walked through the fires of hell on distant battlefields. That what I'm going to tell you next is shocking but true, and I know this to be true because I have researched her. I have faced my own death at the hands of a mob of over 200 men in Egypt when I was gang raped and sodomized and beaten almost to death while on assignment on 60 Minutes. And I know that to be true. I have seen the documentation that this happened to her while she was in journalism, reporting for 60 Minutes. So she wanted to be able to testify and describe the censorship and assaults on her character that she has faced in order to be able to continue to deliver the truth. You see, not only are there all kinds of media outlets out there delivering disinformation, misinformation, modifying information, giving them cute, fancy names like the California Safer Streets Act so they sound more palatable and interesting to you. But there is also a group of people that try to keep the people from telling the truth. She said, for over a decade, I have been targeted and falsely branded, accused of many things that I did not do. I've had my work attacked, my sanity, my marriage, my character, and I am not alone. There are many of us, and we will not give in. It is important to us because everything that we're talking about today, remember, she's testifying before Congress, we address vital principles and values that exist really only in the United States. And then she goes on talking about so-called journalists are the very ones who are leading the campaign for censorship of dissenting voices. You see, this is not happening in a vacuum. There is a goal to some people's work, not everybody, but to some people's work. And the problem is it's coming to you at every angle. It's coming to you by videos, it's coming by podcasts, it's coming by the evening news, it is coming by editorials, it is coming by literally voting ads, campaign promises, what they said really happened and what didn't really happen. And it's reached a whole new level of being able to say, okay, we're going to fact find and we're going to decide this person was wrong and this person was right. And they are changing the truth while they're telling you that the fact is not true. And so we are just getting started. And that's why I felt the need to talk about this today. Where do I go with this? Because I work with kids and teenagers and parents and grandparents, I think we come right back down to having that discussion with our kids about the value of truth. And nothing can replace the value of truth. And that really is what our characters have to be put on. This is no time for do as I say, not as I do. This needs to be a time for leadership, and it's a time for teaching our kids personal values and family values, who we are, what we stand for, and how we're going to change the world for good. Even if there is an absolute war out there of people out there changing the truth, that does not mean the truth was changed. That just means their version of the truth was changed. What we need to know is what the reality of all of this is if we're going to be able to prepare our leadership for the next generation. You know, the quality of leaders that we have and their ability to reach out and change the message. You know, I think about what was said this last week in that debate when they said, well, I misspoke. And I think, misspoke. You either were there or you weren't. And this really has to be where we're at in our lives. All of us at some time or other have misspoke. But we need to correct that as soon as we understand if we have misspoken. And we also need to be able to seek the truth and teach our children to seek the truth. This is going to be important because your children will interact with billions of people around the world online that they have never met. And every one of them is going to have some dream to sell them or some plan to coerce them or seduce them or to get them involved with something that we may not agree with. We have to create kids with character, and that has to start with us, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, getting back to the basics. We know the truth and we know what's right, and we can start with the basics and start to build the foundation so that our kids will be the leaders for the next generation. I'm going to tell you that I think this is the greatest calling of all time. This is the first generation in all the world that can reach the entire world, and the entire world can reach them. This generation is that first generation. how this first generation decides to use technology in a way that respects mankind, that respects the truth, that respects each other, and believes in doing what is right and caring for each other will set the stage for generations to come. You know, I think about the generation when they got cars, and now we all have cars, but they didn't always have cars. And it is that first generation of technology is where we're at today that is connected to the entire world. We have to get this right, because how we do this will really create on the World Wide Web. And that's exactly what we're dealing with today. We're no longer in an isolated place in our little homes. We're on the World Wide Web with input from people we've never met. And our kids will live in that world. And it is our job as leaders to get them ready, to give them armor and give them integrity and give them values and help them be able to state those values. Well, thank you for listening to me. I so much appreciate each and every one of you. I see you out there, and I really appreciate all of you, and especially those that support us financially. We appreciate it. Put your arms around your family this week, folks. Let them know how much you love them and how proud you are of them. I'll see you next Saturday on AM 590, The Answer.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.